Joe Rogan has sparked plenty of buzz in the boxing community after sharing his thoughts on the highly anticipated showdown between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. A fight that's got analysts and fans alike wondering how it might actually play out.
He's slick, man. Yeah. He's slick. He's super intelligent. Like, he sets traps. He does stuff, and then, you know, there's a bunch of great breakdown videos of particularly the Errol Spence fight, like him setting traps. It's just, he's a very high-level guy, but Canelo is dangerous. He broke Billy Joe Saunders' whole face. Broke his whole face. What he did to Amir Khan, remember that shit?
Yeah.
Oh, lordy.
Joe Rogan praised Crawford's talent, but stressed the difficulty of moving up in weight. Jumping from 147 pounds to 168 is a huge leap, and Rogan emphasized how much that difference might matter. Despite Crawford's reputation as one of the sport's elite, Rogan suggested that Canelo's strength and experience at super middleweight could ultimately give him the edge.
Yeah.
Shoot, what about
get away.
Crawford and Canelo?
What do you think of that?
Personally, I'm a big Crawford fan, so I'm going to lean his way. My only concern is just the size. Like, it didn't look like Terrence's power transferred in the last fight, so
with
now it's coming up some more. You know what I mean?
Part of the problem with that is Majumdar is really good.
Yeah,
he's really.
I mean,
good.
but I just think Crawford is. It's weird to say against Canelo, but I think he's the better boxer, and I think he's the guy who can make the better in-fight adjustments if Canelo doesn't kill him.
It's going to be interesting, I'll tell you that.
What do you think?
I don't know. You know, it's a big jump to go from 54, which was a step up from 47. Right?
Now
so it goes to 54, and now
68?
he's going to 68. That's so much weight.
A lot of weight.
But Terence is, I think he's the best switch hitter since Hagler.
They claim Hagler was my favorite. They claim he's walking around like a $190 or something. And you do know he's a wrestler. So he's got that mentality to him.
Yeah, Terence they rented out the Apex for a while. Was training there. Kids running around all on the mat. I was get these badass.
He was using the Apex?
Yeah.
Why was he using the Apex?
I don't know. I'd see it, but 30 people, you know what I'm saying?
Wasn't gonna run into
30
everybody.
people.
Right.
Yeah. Half of them in suits.
How many times did he use it?
Oh, he was there for a while.
Really?
Yeah. They were training at the Apex.
Interesting. And this was getting ready for this fight?
Yeah, getting ready for this fight.
Well, that makes sense because the UFC is co-promoting.
Yeah.
Dana is a part of that.
I saw on their website, by the Canelo Crawford fight. Now, in my head, I was like, holy shit. And then I was like, oh, yeah, Dana's involved with this.
Yeah.
That's something,
The upcoming matchup has sparked plenty of debate, with different voices in the boxing world weighing in. One of them is Jose Benavidez, a former rival who once faced Crawford in the ring. He's confident that Crawford can shock the world, pointing to the fighter's ring IQ and versatility as key weapons. While Benavidez admits the size difference is real, he argues it won't be as decisive as many assume. Crawford's ability to switch between stances and adjust on the fly gives him a unique edge. According to Benavidez, Crawford's mindset also sets him apart. He won't be intimidated by Canelo's reputation the way others have, and that mental toughness could be the factor that changes everything.
I mean, like I said, a lot of people are counting Crawford out. Crawford's a fucking beast. He's smart, he knows what he's doing. Canelo, I mean, he's not that big of a guy. He's obviously weighs more, but I mean, you can't take nothing from Crawford. He goes in there to win. So I mean, I feel like it'd be a good fight. It's my brother didn't get the opportunity, but I mean, only Canelo knows why it didn't happen. And he's got to keep moving forward. Got to keep moving forward. But it's gonna be a good fight to watch. I got Crawford on this one.
A past opponent, and you shared the ring with Crawford in one of the most scintillating fights of Crawford's career. Talk to us intricately. What's one of the things that fans just can't ascertain about Crawford while watching on TV?
The thing with him, he adjusts. He's a smart motherfucker. He adjusts. He's not only does he switch from southpaw to orthodox, but he's just a smart. He has a high IQ in boxing, and that's what I feel like. All these fighters that go in there to fight Canelo, they already go in there scared, is what I believe, that which already beats him, So Crawford's gonna go in there to fucking win. He's not gonna go in there to fucking lose. So I mean,
Crawford's decision to climb up in weight for a showdown with Canelo has raised eyebrows among fighters who've shared the ring with either man. Amir Khan, who has been beaten by both, warned Crawford about the risks of stepping into the super middleweight division. Khan acknowledged Crawford's exceptional fight intelligence, but cautioned that battling Canelo at 168 pounds could punish his body. He noted the extra weight might sap Crawford's speed, while Canelo's punching power, even at this stage of his career, is still a serious danger. Khan even wondered whether Crawford needed to take such a gamble after already cementing his legacy. His advice was straightforward. Avoid putting yourself under the strain of meeting Canelo at super middleweight.
I think I'm the only guy that beat it with both fighters. So yeah, I'm thinking of maybe going there. I've been asked to go there and obviously give my input on the fight before they go in the ring. And obviously I know both fighters. Canelo's a friend now after our fight we had, and also Crawford had shared training camp with him as well. It's a good fight. But I'm not gonna say too much.
Okay.
I'm gonna save it till on the day of the fight.
Okay.
But look, it's gonna be a mega fight. Honestly, it's hard to pick the winner.
Yeah.
But like I said,
Some fighters have voiced concerns about Crawford moving up in weight, with Richardson Hitchens being one of them. Although Hitchens doesn't expect a knockout, he thinks Crawford's technical skill set could still pose real challenges for Canelo. Crawford's ability to adjust and his precise boxing style might trouble a power-driven fighter like Canelo, who thrives on pressure. According to Hitchens, this matchup is all about contrasting styles, Crawford's finesse versus Canelo's raw strength.
Crawford is one of the most craftiest dudes that Canelo gonna be in the ring with. Hand speed, IQ, long arms, speed, power. Switch hitter. I just think that it's gonna be a lot for. It's gonna be something different for Canelo, but then Canelo's Canelo. Canelo been first title defense was in 2011 versus Ricky Hatton, and he's still on top to the present time. So this is over 10 years. We're going on like 15 years of this guy fighting on the championship level. So there's nothing new for him. So I do believe that it's gonna be a huge fight for both guys. But obviously I'm backing Bud. I have a personal relationship with Terence Crawford, and he's a black fighter, and I do want to see my own winning. I think Bud is a great guy. Especially always being hands-on with the young fighters coming up behind him, guys like me, Shakur, Devin Haney's, being in the gym with guys like us, and just giving us free gaming like that. So I think that would be motivation for the young ones behind him, to show them like, yeah, like I could do it, like you could do it too. So I really want to see Bud win that fight.
Not everyone is convinced that Crawford's skill set will be enough to topple Canelo. Regis Prograis expressed doubts, arguing that Crawford's speed and technique won't outweigh Canelo's strength. He pointed to Canelo's track record against heavy hitters like Sergey Kovalev and Gennady Golovkin, saying those victories showed Canelo can withstand big punchers at super middleweight. Prograis also cautioned that moving up in weight could cost Crawford some of his natural quickness and power, leaving him open to Canelo's punishing shots. In his opinion, the gap in size and punching power makes the matchup too steep a challenge for Crawford.
I think that Crawford has the ability to outbox Canelo. You gotta look at it. And then Canelo's older. Crawford has the ability, but he's small, and he can look bigger Crawford could look bigger in the weigh-ins and all that stuff, but it's always a difference. When you get that fight with somebody, you can tell. Same thing with Jamel. Jamel fought him, the twin. He fought Crawford, and in all the stuff, the weigh-ins and the press conference, Jamel looked like the bigger man. His head, his neck, everything looked bigger. But when they got in the fight, you can tell. You can see who really was the bigger man. And I think that's the same thing. Crawford is putting on weight, but it's not weight. Like Canelo had the weight already. He doesn't have to put on muscle. He doesn't have to do that. He's already big like that. But I think that Crawford does have the style. He does have the style to beat him. If you look at the people that beat him or gave him trouble, Irizlandi Lara, Austin Trout, Floyd, and Bivol. They gave him trouble and stuff like that. And Skull moved around a little bit too. So I think that Crawford has that. But I don't know how Crawford is going to respond when he gets hit. Same thing with Jamel. Jamel was undisputed at 154, and Canelo hit him and shit. Jamel was like, hell no. Jamel took a knee. So it's a big difference. And Crawford had that one fight at 154, and he didn't. Madrimov would touch him up a little bit. And this is nowhere close to Madrimov. You talk about Canelo. Now, if it was just another bigger guy, I would go with Crawford. But you talk about this might be. People might kill me for it, but well, not really, but this might be the best.
Andy Ruiz took a more balanced stance on the potential clash. He recognized Canelo's power, but pointed out that Canelo has shown vulnerability in the past when facing southpaws. Since Crawford is among the most dangerous southpaws in the sport, Ruiz suggested that this could be an area Crawford might exploit. Even so, Ruiz avoided making a firm prediction, admitting the bout is too close to call. In his view, both fighters bring unique qualities that could swing the momentum, making the outcome uncertain until the final bell.
I know is that if you were in a Canelo Crawford card, that card would be a million times. It's still an amazing card, but you would have added a lot. Who wins, Canelo or Crawford?
I think it's gonna be a good fight, man. I'm going for Canelo, of course. You know, he's the Mexican warrior as well. And for Crawford, man, you can't neglect him or you can't underestimate him as well. You know, he has a lot of skills, a lot of movement. He's a lefty as well. That's what Canelo has trouble with. I think it's gonna be an amazing fight, man. I just can't wait.
Zab Judah, however, voiced strong confidence in Crawford's chances. He argued that Crawford's sharp reflexes, tactical mind, and well-rounded boxing ability would give him the upper hand. Judah highlighted Crawford's speed and agility as key tools that could wear Canelo down over time, particularly in the later rounds when Canelo has been known to fade. In his view, Crawford's ring intelligence would allow him to dictate the pace of the fight and perhaps even secure a late stoppage.
Canelo and Crawford.
No hesitation. No hesitation. I want to see that fight. Big Bud. Big Bud. We're going to have to roll Canelo up. We're going to have to pack him up, baby.
But how hard is the jump from 47 to 68?
I mean, listen, it's a very big challenge. But what I said, with his skills and the way he's adapted to the size, brother, when I seen him stand toe-to-toe and side by side, I said, game over. Terence Crawford. And listen, don't be surprised if he stops him. I'm telling you.
Who?
Don't be surprised
if Canelo stops Crawford.
Terence Bud Crawford stops Canelo.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I love you. Skills pay the bills. See that, Cody? Skills pay the bills.
Caleb Plant offered a different angle, suggesting the matchup is about more than physical traits alone. In his view, both men carry distinct strengths, Canelo with his power and experience, and Crawford with his sharpness and adaptability. Plant framed the fight as a battle of mental toughness and tactical execution, making it especially hard to forecast. He believes the outcome will largely depend on which fighter can enforce his strategy and bend the contest to his will.
Terence is not a regular guy. You know what I'm saying? He's special. And, you know, Canelo, he's a top-notch fighter, world-class fighter. Still on the pound-for-pound list, I'm sure towards somewhere near the top. And it's exciting. You know, Terence is freakishly strong. He can punch. He's got good crack. He can fight from both ways. Orthodox, southpaw. He can fight at mid-range, close range, outside. And he can fight going both ways. So it's exciting. It's exciting. It's a big question mark on the end of it, though. So that's why, you know, I'm sure all of us are excited for that bell to ring and, you know, be able to find out firsthand.
Shakur Stevenson highlighted Crawford's performance against Sean Porter as proof that he's capable of beating Canelo. He pointed to Crawford's seamless ability to switch between orthodox and southpaw stances as a major asset in the matchup. Stevenson expressed confidence that Crawford's high fight IQ and adaptability would allow him to outthink Canelo and secure the win.
I ain't gonna lie, I've been putting it out since, I want to say, when he fought Sean Porter. Like back then, if you go watch, it's an interview out there. I had said I think that Terence Crawford would beat Canelo Alvarez right after he fought Sean Porter.
At that point, but why did you believe then that was the right fight?
Because I just knew, like, as far as in that weight class, Terence Crawford is like the greatest. So I just feel as though with Canelo's style and like the style of boxing that he got, I think and this is before Bivol did it, but I thought like Terence Crawford was the only guy who I felt as though could have beat Canelo with his style.
Arislandi Lara, who pushed Canelo to a close decision back in 2014, offered a more cautious perspective. Having felt Canelo's power firsthand, Lara stressed how difficult it is to deal with him as the fight wears on. His advice for Crawford was to rely on his speed and movement, steering clear of a toe-to-toe battle. Lara emphasized that maintaining distance will be essential if Crawford wants to outbox Canelo and avoid the kind of heavy shot that could end the night.
He sees it as a very interesting 50-50 fight. He feels that Canelo's very strong right now, and he wants to figure out to see how Crawford's going to handle the power, especially in the early rounds, and what's going to happen. said, yeah, he said he remembers fighting Canelo back 14 years ago it is now. And he said he remembers he uses legs real good. And as long as Crawford uses his legs and he doesn't let Canelo just hit him in the arms and beat him up in the arms, he has a very good chance.
Kelly Pavlik, who also shared the ring with Canelo, underscored a key distinction between the two fighters' backgrounds. He noted that Canelo has consistently tested himself against larger opponents, while Crawford has yet to prove himself at the super middleweight limit. Pavlik acknowledged Crawford's talent, but argued that his lack of experience at 168 pounds could be a critical disadvantage. In Pavlik's view, the size and strength of fighters in this division may present obstacles even Crawford's skill set can't fully overcome.
Tough one. Look, I like betting fights or making picks, and I'm usually pretty good on all my picks, even when I had the podcast. But sometimes, because people look for that fighter, that former world champion, and they like want to pick them apart if they get it wrong. This is one of the fights where I want to sit back and watch and not worry about my pick. Canelo is a small middleweight, super middleweight. He just is. But he's also showed that he can go up in weight class, and he's a great fighter. I mean, that's it. Crawford is so talented. He's got so much ability in boxing, his boxing ability. And he's a bigger guy, too. He's almost every bit as big as Canelo, right? So that's what makes it tough. Like, yeah, Canelo's used to fighting guys coming down from 200, probably, at light heavyweight. And Crawford ain't. But it's just too hard to pick on it because of Crawford's ability and boxing skills. I'm not going off of Canelo's last fight. The guy he was fighting was in survival mode, pretty much. He was just fighting not to get knocked out. When you fight a guy like that, you're not going to look good, right? I don't care what anybody says. When you fight a guy that's running around trying to survive, it makes it hard. So I don't go off of that, but this fight is going to be interesting. I mean, I would almost have to kind of lean with Canelo, but I'm not making that pick.
Still, Pavlik acknowledged that Crawford has weapons that could tilt the fight in his favor. He pointed to Crawford's agility, footwork, and ring intelligence as assets that could help him control the tempo. If Crawford is able to establish his game plan early and sap Canelo's energy, Pavlik believes a late stoppage or points victory is within reach. One possible blueprint, he suggested, would be for Crawford to put pressure on Canelo from the start. Forcing a fast pace could drain the Mexican star's stamina, something that has looked vulnerable in past fights, while giving Crawford the chance to exploit the later rounds.
Staying Canelo's ass a little early on, put Canelo behind, right? Even if it's 3 out of the first 4 rounds, because when Canelo has to fight, when Canelo has to step it up, after 7 rounds, he starts to fade a little bit. We've seen that with Bivol. We've seen it in a lot of his fights with Triple G. When Canelo could control the fight and the ring generalship, he could fight 12 rounds pretty good. But when Canelo gets pushed early on in the fight, he starts to fade muscle endurance wise. So if I was Crawford, I would kind of stay in it a little bit on the early rounds and make him have to play catch up in the rounds 3, 4, 5, and then by round 7, that's where
Tim Bradley has made his support for Crawford clear, brushing aside concerns about Canelo's recent form. In Bradley's view, Crawford's technical skill set is more than enough to offset Canelo's punching power. He predicted that Crawford would take command of the fight right from the opening bell, regardless of whether Canelo tries to turn it into a slugfest. Bradley argued that Crawford is simply the more complete fighter, and that his craft and precision would stand out against an opponent who leans heavily on strength.
One more thing. It don't matter if Canelo is on that. He ain't beat no Terence Crawford. You heard it here first. Plus, I look at the performances of Canelo. I look at his last performances. I mean, they've been all right, It ain't been like, wow, blew me away. So I'm not really worried about all of that. And the same thing goes with Crawford. I know he's with Snack, and I know some news came out this week and all of that, but I personally believe that Snack is clean. I think it's a conflict of interest, the fact that, he knows how to beat the system, quote unquote, Victor Conte, but at the same time, I think Snack, you got products going around the world, this and that. I mean, all these athletes are testing. They're not testing anything or positive by using Snack at all. So I think they're safe. There's no doubt about it. So with that being said, I'm not worried about that. As long as they testing, I'm good.
Finally, Gervonta Tank Davis shared his perspective, emphasizing Crawford's mental toughness and ability to adapt to a higher weight class. While acknowledging the size difference, Davis argued that Crawford's agility and ring intelligence wouldn't be diminished by the move up. In his view, Crawford's knack for adjusting to new challenges could give him a crucial edge over Canelo, especially when it comes to the psychological battle inside the ring.
You've been in there with Crawford? Yeah. So you've been in there with Crawford, you've been there with Canelo. What can you take from sparring both of them to gauge what's gonna happen in September?
Preparation is gonna definitely be everything. Crawford adjusting to the 168 pound division. I know he's been sitting at a heavier weight for a while, but he's been showing his training and stuff. So that's definitely gonna help him. Canelo experience, but then you got Crawford got great experience as well. It's gonna be a great fight. It's gonna be a good chess match. I expect a great fight. If I had to favor somebody, I would just pick Canelo because of the weight disparity. Canelo is naturally sits really well at 168, and it's just always tough for a guy to come to 168 and come from grab that many weight classes up and do something like that. If he does it, if anybody can do it, it'll be.
As the showdown between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford draws closer, the boxing world remains split. Supporters of Crawford point to his intelligence, versatility, and resilience as the tools that could neutralize Canelo's power and experience. On the other hand, skeptics argue that the size gap and Canelo's proven success against bigger opponents may simply be too great an obstacle. Whatever the outcome, one thing is certain. This clash has all the ingredients to be one of the most competitive and unpredictable fights in recent memory.